Just clicking into the designer at the moment. Been working on the Cran Sur Sierra, which is the home of the Omega European Masters and the European Tour. So it's a absolutely beautiful golf course located in the middle of the Alps. Um, so having a bit of fun with it. If you're an avid follower of golf and watch the European Tour and have done for many years, you'll probably remember this course for the miracle shot by Seve Ballesteros. Basically, was behind an 8 foot wall, had to go through trees um, just to get his ball back in play. He could have chipped out the side, but being typical Seve in the way he was, he opted to go for glory and basically pulled off an absolutely amazing shot. Just dropped it in front of the green and then chipped in the shot that followed it to win the tournament. He was 5 shots back, I think on the 13th tee, if I've got that correct. And yeah, just went to absolute town on the golf course coming in and made some just amazing shots. So this is the 18th here. It's definitely an awful long way from being done. Still in the early stages. Like there's quite a bit of tidying up to do on the sculpting there. Again, I went the route of bringing the level of the ground level up quite a bit, and from there then did the elevations downwards as opposed to building up. I built down, so it just left quite a few edges here that just need to be tidied up, and that'll all be done as we go on throughout the course. So I just decided I want to make sure that I have a really good look for the course early on, rather than getting too stuck into it and then realizing we've made some huge errors. So at least by giving it its kind of first early beta, it's looking good so far. I really like it. Um, really happy how it's looking at the moment. So that's the first hole there, par five, big downhill, and then we've got the par four second, which is basically just heading straight back up in the opposite direction, back up the hill. Bunker there on the right that really shouldn't really come into play unless the hole's playing downwind, and even at that, um, you'll find yourself pretty unlucky to get into there. It's definitely going to come into play for the forward tees. So I say if you're teeing off forward of this tee here now, you that bunker is definitely coming into play. Um, then it's slight elevation again, back up towards the green, which is 2 bunkers surrounding it again. Uh, Unless you hit a fast or a slow swing, I think that those shouldn't really come into play. Maybe a front pin position would bring them more into play, but I suppose as position one goes at the moment, um, I can't imagine it being too much of an issue. And then if we go beyond here, tee box with third hole, so nicely pushed back. Um, a tee box there. Nice little par three. I say little, it's 200, roughly 202 yards. Nothing overly complicated about it. It is a really nice looking par three. Um, just that green there has a little bit of a hill place. I might actually leave that pin position there because having hit some shots in with it. Just need to drop down a club to, I think it was a 5 iron, which was with the tour clubs, and stitching it in really close. Like as long as you can kind of kill it into that hill, uh, it should definitely kind of stop it in around that kind of 5 feet area. So I kind of like that because obviously then when the wind comes into it, then it just makes that shot a little bit harder, whether you can get it up over that ridge or not. And if you do get it up there, I mean it's definitely a much easier putt. And then the fourth hole, which is the last one we've done, so we have our little steps there. It seems to have gotten a little bit overgrown with grass there, so we're going to have to come back and tidy that up. I thought I had that tidied up before, but um, evidently we have some grass back. So here we have the fourth hole, so a nice long par four, just over 500 yards. Again, you can see there with the tee boxes, like they are in place, they just need a touch up here and there. Same with this one here. So again, it's not finished. It's not finished by a long mile, this hole either. Definitely have an awful lot of filling in there to do. The tree selection for um, this team isn't ideal. It's ideally it's the best there for sure, because one, I need those mountains in the background to look as they do, and I also need to have most of the trees looking like it. The problem is that the trees are very skinny, so trying to get some gaps filled in, like the visibility across to the fifth hole, isn't that good, but it looks pretty good here. Um, so what's ended up having to happen is I'm using more trees, and then with that, it just cheapens the look a little bit of the course. Like I think you'll notice it here in the second hole. Like all those trees that I have up there on the left, that to me is enough trees to have there, but probably gonna have to add in a good few more, um, just to I suppose kill those gaps a little bit. Um, on the first hole, I was messing about with bushes. So what I was doing was I was picking a particular bush that kind of blended in with the tree, and then just changed the height in it. Used the advanced settings on it, changed the height, and I've kind of you can probably spot them now if they're there. But any of those trees that you actually can't see, it's pure black. Um, those are bushes. So I'm more than likely going to have to do that an awful lot more, which I really wasn't looking forward to doing. But if it's what needs to be done to make this course look as lifelike as possible, then I suppose we better do it. I think I did a little bit over here as well. Yeah, there's those one, two, three, four trees there that are quite big. You can see actually if I get up to them close, um, that the tree is actually quite small, and that it is actually bushes that I've been using. You can actually see one of the bushes there. Um, so I'm gonna try that again, maybe on this hole, especially there down the left hand side. Um, let's see if we can block out some of that. Do, do, do. Okay. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm kind of finished with that for the time being. Like obviously there's some work to be done here in this path, but there's a huge amount of detail in behind this hole here along the side of the road, an awful lot of buildings and cabins and stuff. So the way I've been looking at things and designing things lately have been very much aimed at getting the course done first and making sure the course is perfect, is as exactly as we wanted it, before then adding more in. So when it comes to designing the course, first thing I'm doing is I'm plotting it out. So you can see there's quite a few lines left in. I haven't gotten around to removing all of them. If I didn't need to remove them, I kind of just left them there. But all these lines are basically different points um, on the course at which I use to map it out basically. Um, and by using these, then I'm able to basically create the a lifelike layout for each course that I work with. And then from there, then it's as I'm laying it out and stuff like that, I make sure that I put in all the fairways, all the rough, all the heavy rough, make sure it's as um, accurate as possible. I don't leave the splines as is; they're all completely edited straight away. And then I just move on to the next hole. So it's all about working off a flat surface. I definitely, with RCRs for sure, I don't build into this the auto generated terrain. I pretty much turn it all to flat, and then start measuring it out and um, laying out the course. So then when I've done all that, then the next thing I find really really important is to get the elevations done. So these ones here, are the holes at Cransur here. They're very very elevated. I mean, you can see there the first two holes, quite an elevation change. Third is pretty flat, and then you've got the fourth going all the way down here, the fifth, and then as you can see throughout the course, there's quite a drop in elevation there. So that just took quite a while to get that done, but so far so good. We'll move down onto the fifth hole now and just get a bit of flattening done. Maybe a little bit of planting as well. Try and get this course completed at least within the next week or two. This brush is a lifesaver, this one here. Been using it for most of the designs lately. It's just before I used to go sculpting, and I'd it would look reasonably okay, and I'd kind of leave it alone, and that was it. Like, and yeah, then I managed to find these brush, and then the flattening function is brilliant. Just it really evens out those surfaces for you, especially those slopey ones, so that at least makes ball movement on the surfaces definitely more realistic, and it's not just bouncing here, there, and everywhere. How are you doing, George? Just seen your message there. Yeah, it's looking pretty decent. Still a long way to go, but I'm hoping that I have a bit of a long weekend off work, so I might get to do a little bit more on it, and hopefully have it ready. I'm definitely looking to include it in an event towards the end of the season in RCR. Definitely have the wiggle room to fit in another tournament or two. So fingers crossed I can get it done, and moving on. Might take a break from design after this. It's it's a serious commitment. Is that Steve I see logged on? How are you doing, Steve? You playing much lately or at all? Yeah, so just ironing out these surfaces a little bit. There's obviously when it came to fixing up the course a little bit, the um, the way I always say it is it has to become an absolute mess before it becomes perfection, and that's very evident with this course here. And there's some of these slopes that really just shouldn't be as prominent as that, and so just got to tidy it up first. Do, do, do. But yeah, I was thinking I might at least get stuck into this for a little bit. Maybe just get the fifth hole done, and then I might thinking of hopping out and playing a first round of RCR. So I had a little practice round yesterday. It didn't go well. Did not go well. I started well. I think it was 3 under through the first two, and then I think I finished 6 under. Just could not get a birdie for the life of me. So I'm hoping that at least this time around I might actually play well. Play the Dean and DeLuca. Any good actually? I haven't played that course. Um, what's his face? Gary's always on about it. I was chatting to him there a few weeks ago, and he was raving about it. So it must be a good course. I'll just open up my YouTube here on the phone so I can see these messages properly. All right, you have it up already. Oh, cool. Might take a look at that later on. Oh, I see it there actually. Just I'm opening up my YouTube. Do, do, do. Yeah, I don't need to listen to myself. I just need to. There we go. Bloody phone's an absolute mess. I was supposed to be working 1:30 till 10 today, and my system just absolutely hit the fucking. Oh, I don't know. It just lost its life today. They put through an update last night on one of the routers and just absolutely fried it this morning. So went into work at 1:30, turned on the computer, completely broken. I was like, yeah, perfect. So they're sending me out a new one now. So I'm here to chill out for the rest of the day. Going through a slump again. The form from Muirfield carried over, did it? That was awful unlucky. Like I watched most of those videos now because I just like to see how everyone else is getting on and stuff like that. And I mean, you were fair unlucky. Like there was just, oh man, it was ridiculous. I felt so sorry for you. So sorry for you. Like, and to be honest, I put it like absolutely shocking. Um, could not make a single thing. I think I I lipped out at least in the final round about 4 times on the way in, um, so really cost myself a top 10 place. Just here working off images here on my phone as well, just to try and get this looking as accurate as I can. Because there is quite a substantial enough slope here, so just try and get that nailed. So yeah, it's looking along a bit better now. So just in case you're trying to figure out where exactly this is on the course, it's the short little par 4 fifth. It looks like it's going to be drivable considering it's 290 yards there to the tee. Thing is that tee is also going to be pushed back here, so it's definitely going to play a little bit longer. 337. Trees all the way up the right hand side here, so you're not going to have any view of that green. So your shot really is going to be um, maybe a hybrid or a 2 iron or whatever you have in the bag. Um, Poke it out to here, and just a handy flick of a lob wedge or something like that up onto the green. Thing is, you definitely don't want to go long here, so I'm definitely going to throw in a back pin position here, and yeah, you definitely don't want to go long, because you go long here, you're going to catch a lovely big slope there down towards the second tee box. So that, again, you can see there, that's a little bit all over the shop at the moment, but again, that just came from the sculpting earlier on. That's that. Still trying to forget. Ah, no, you're not. You were playing some great stuff there for like 2 or 3 weeks. Got yourself promoted back up and everything, and then, ah, look, I've been there. Been there far too many times. Yeah, so this is looking pretty tidy. Um, feel kind of happy with this. The handy thing actually as well for most of the planting is obviously there's quite a few images taken and they're posted online, but Conservacy website actually have their own computerized flyovers, so it gives you a good idea of like tree positionings, slopes and stuff like that. You can really just see them at face value and kind of get an idea of how the hole is going to be mapped out. So yeah, I think we're pretty good here. I'm maybe just going to iron out this slope a little bit more. Um, just because I don't feel like it's that steep. So, um, got the yeah, yeah. I know exactly how you how you feel there. I um I won the European Tour event at the start of the season, promoted to the PGA, and then like literally scraped the bottom of the barrel for like 3 or 4 weeks. It was so tough, and then I think I just got a run of good fortune in a run of about 5 events and managed to scrape enough points out of it. I think I had 2 top 5s or something like that, um, and that managed to be just enough points to get me promoted. Though I haven't played in a few weeks though, just don't have the time, and to be honest, it's just it takes an awful lot out of you. Like it's the fear of God, but it just really goes into you, especially with some of those tougher courses. It's just awful. Do, do, do. Which course? This course here? Why not? Simple little course. I mean, to be honest, like if we could take a little walk through here actually. So the sixth hole is going to be here. This is a par four, quite a tight one. So if you're missing fairways and stuff like that, it will be tough with trees planted and stuff like that. But it's only 300 and 327 yards long or something. Um, Bunkers all around, but to be honest, if you're accurate, you're going to be landing in around here, unless you have a major downwind. Oh, you're looking forward to it. I read that wrong. Sorry. I thought I thought you were saying you weren't looking forward to it, and I was like, it's not that difficult because there's a 327-yard par four, and then followed it up down here at the seventh. Is it even? No, it's about 290, I think, to the pin there. And then you've got a couple of par fives. Again, ignore all those slopes. That's the anarchy that needs to be tidied up. Like this one here is about 600 yards long, but it's as you can see there, if we go back up to the tee, the green is 104 feet below us. That's those are crazy elevations we're talking about. Even into the wind here, you should be hitting a drive down there about 300 plus yards easy. Um, okay, let's go do a bit of planting. So I'm just gonna hop over there to my browser. Where you gone? Just compare, so maybe just see exactly where those trees start. That's why it's. I always find it's very important anyway. The To make sure you have, I suppose, enough information from each hole, um, or each course, I should say. Simply because, like, obviously you've got to make sure the measurements are correct, um, make sure how it looks is bang on as well. Like, there's no point getting into the course if all you can see is the overhead distances and stuff like that. You need to really get a good feel for it. So having those, having yardages, having green readings, stuff like that, hugely important. Um, so it's handy that doing the popular courses is quite easy because there's always loads of images for them, and there's always loads of information there. So this hole here has actually quite an awful lot of trees. So roughly in around here. Um, is where the trees start, and it's pretty much the whole way to the green and all the way back down the sixth fairway, which is just opposite us and thick. So, yeah, that's going to be a lot of trees. Do, do, do. Not looking forward to Wolverine tonight. I was going to play it last night. Trouble in practice. Yeah, I had a bit of trouble as well. Don't worry, I chickened out as well. I played I think I streamed it as well yesterday. Um, like I was saying, I was 3 under, 3-2. It was, I don't know how it was that. it was ridiculous. And then I just caught this run of just pars and lip outs and stop. It was just a nightmare. I think I had a bogey as well. A bogey at a par 5, which is just an absolute sin. I went into down towards the lake off the tee, and then just couldn't recover. Just went from the rough to a bunker, and then yeah, the rest is history. Okay, let's find the tree. Trees. Start off with some pines. So this is kind of what I'm saying. This hole here now, I can looking at the image here. The trees are an awful lot less Swiss Alpy looking and more along the lines of very bushy or very kind of typical UK countryside terrain that kind of has that feel to it in places. So I'm just going to place a few things up along it. We're going to mix and match. I definitely don't want to get in the habit of multi-planting yet. That would be so easy to do here to get this covered quicker. But just haven't done shit like that before with Ballybunny, which still isn't complete. It's so close, but the system is bugging out on me the whole time, which just made it impossible to finish at the end. I'd hop onto it, go to flatten the tee box, and then bang, straight away bug. And so I did it. I did do a bit of multi-planting on it with grass, trying to give that real links feel to it, um, which is probably the reason now why I actually am so cautious when it comes to designing now. I'm like, everything has to be particular. I have to do the layout and plan everything first. Then I have to get elevations and sculpt and everything else. Then I've got to plant it, but then I have to prioritize exactly what I'm going to plant because I don't want to run into an issue where that meter goes too high. starts bugging and stuff like that. So I've just had to be so careful with it. Um, let's place a few more than that here. So what I'm going to do at the start is um, I'm just going to get the bare minimum of trees down, uh, simply because like all that filling in can be done at the end. I want to just at least achieve a sense of the whole for right now. Move on and just get the, like I said, kind of prioritize exactly what needs to be done. So these trees need to be there. As for filling up all the inside, probably not. Change that. So what we also want to do is just give that impression that it's not a fairway that you can cut. Just kind of take it over trees. So I'm just gonna place a few here like this, and just try and create that feel that because last thing I want is because players can't do it in real life is to have players just belting drivers over the trees. Now, fair enough if they're off the forward tees, whatever, off you go. Fair play to you if you get it on. Um, but the men's tees at the back, that's where we're going to play it all the time. So no point chickening out in the forward tees. Something it kind of annoys me sometimes when I go back and play my own courses. And you see the amount of people who just went and played it off the right tees, and I'm like, yeah, fair enough, you shot 14 under, but like, come back there to the rest of us for a little bit there and see if you can shoot 14 under there. Um, and I put my money on them not having a chance of it. So I don't know, maybe they just need to feel like the big man. Now, what might help here as well is one thing I've been noticing while checking things out is just go back to the fourth hole there for a second is just how gappy that actually is. So what could actually lend a hand to that is if we do make sure to at the end put all the trees in here, we could end up nullifying those gaps a little bit because it'd be a bit darker behind the trees. Yeah, definitely. Although I don't know if there's could be that should look the same. Here, I'm just chatting away to myself in my own word. I forget I'm streaming sometimes. I have to remind myself. Okay, so again, we're not going to place too many because what we can do is, again, I don't like doing it, but it's more than likely going to have to be done because of the amount of trees that will have to be planted. Is to use some bushes and just use them to block it up a little bit because, as I said earlier, the trees are a little bit on the skinny side. I was definitely hoping for some fatter trees. Yeah, good call. Sometimes it's just better. Stick in the headphones and just away you go. Um, good call there. Definitely the better call. Yeah, I might just throw in these few trees here, and that will just, I suppose, give the overall feel of how the hole is going to play. Um, Again, an awful lot going to need to be filled in there. I mean, these trees do run all the way over here. Sorry, over here. So there's quite a bit of filling in to be done there. But I reckon if um, if I keep this going, um, designing the course and stuff like that, I should say, and then come back to it at the very end, I might get away with multi-planting them and not run into any issues, any bugs or anything like that. So fingers crossed. But there's yeah, still quite a bit to be done. Do, do, do. So what's going to happen is we're going to fifth here. Just thinking there, so six is over here. 10. And dun, dun, dun. Just thinking here because I might need to actually get started on something soon. I have there's going to be a pond. Let me just get out here. Ericsson, howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. So yeah, we're going to have a lake here. Just a nice little lake there, which is going to run a little stream. I think that stream is going to run just along the edge here of 17th fairway. So that is actually all this area here is pretty much reachable off the tee. It's only 320 odd yards. So if you catch downwind, because we are slightly below tee here, it's 10 feet down to reach here. If you get a downwind, you could very well find yourself in this stream that's going to run all the way over here. And then what's going to happen is, again, this all needs to be properly flattened out. That's just a mess at the moment, but like I said, it has to be a mess before perfection. So the stream then is going to flow down here, and then it's going to enter into a pond that we're going to have, in around the back of the hole and up along here, and the stream down in the rest of the pond there. So the other side of it as well, it's going to need a lot of work, is the amount of stones that's fucking has to run all the way up that stream, all the way over to the 17th fairway, and all the way up to the 10th. I mean, that's literally, there's just rocks just running the whole way down. So I might actually need to hop over onto that soon, just so I can make sure I don't run over on that meter, because that meter, I don't really want to hit too high in it, because then we're just left with a laggy mess. And Francoeur deserves better than that. Okay. Okay. We used this before? I don't think so. Okay. Spin trees. Do any fancy around in a few minutes? Just because once I'm finished up here, I'm thinking of heading over and playing the RCR event at Woburn. Just I might give the first round a crack. So if you're playing and you haven't played the first round yet, meet me over there in probably about 10-15 minutes. I think I'm nearly done here. There's not a huge amount of trees that I need to put up at the very top, because essentially it's just the trees from the fort that are behind. So again, I don't have to add those in. Yeah, that's looking pretty decent right now. In case you're wondering what I'm doing all the way back here, that's going to be the actual tee box, and that's going to be the over tees. So yeah, that looks perfect. So now I'm going to take just a look at the green. Not much to it, but it definitely is going to need a little bit of movement about. So we're just going to raise that a little bit. Yeah, Eric, I'm going to be playing here in, I'm thinking maybe 10-15 minutes. I'm just going to try and get this green done. I might play a quick tester through the course, and then I'll be hitting over to RCR World Tour for the first round. If you fancy joining me, no pressure. Okay, what are we looking for? What? Yeah. So once we've got that up off so just want to raise that up a little bit. Um, I know some courses have very flat entries, but I like to kind of add that just a little bit of height difference there. So all I'm really doing is just raising that up a little bit and then flattening it out. So while I'm raising it, what I'm also aiming to do is just raise up the lips on those bunkers a little bit, so that when I flatten this out, it will actually be perfectly even. So those are just things that I do anyway to try and make a difference. Oh shit, am I raise? I'm in raise. There we go. That's why it's not flattening out. And perfect. So what we've left there, we've got left now, is just a little incline up. Now we can get to work on the green. Now, like I was saying, you don't want to go over the screen at all. There's a nice bit of a kick off down to the second hole, so that's going to just need to be ironed out a little bit. Just do that quickly. Just because the slope is not that severe, but it's there. You don't want to catch it. Okay, I'm trying to read the messages. I need to see the meetings. All right, cool. Well, look, as I said, I'm going to be here for a little bit. Just messing away here on the course, just trying to get the few bits and pieces ironed out. And then I'll be heading over. Oh, I don't know why I'm tired. I haven't even been to work today. I had a great day off today. Like I was saying, I don't know if any of you caught it earlier, but I went into work and I work from home for eBay, but one of the routers inside, they updated it last night and absolutely burnt it. So yeah, I couldn't go to work this morning, which was absolutely delightful. So I've just been chilling out for the day. Oh, he's working now. Sorry, Eric. Yeah, damn right. And the best part of it as well is that what's it? The NFC and the AFC Championship are on this weekend, and American football, just in case you're not up to it. And I deliberately booked off Monday off work because I was like, I just wanted to stay up, watch the games, and have a bit of a lie in the next day. So I booked it off. So now I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off, which is just absolutely delightful. It has worked out incredibly well for me. So yeah, another thing as well is that you'll probably notice I haven't been into too many of the bunkers yet. Both the bunkers aren't overly, they're not overly difficult, not overly deep. Just at the same time, the course can be so long at times that you really don't want to be visiting them too often. Especially there's one back here. I got it here earlier on in the. I was testing out the first four holes, and I got a cut in the back here, and I had like 43% is all I could advance it out. So managed to make a pretty decent par there. But yeah, you just don't want to get caught in them. That's a flatman two, raise two. One thing that sometimes I just get so boggled by is what tool I'm actually using. Make sure I'm using the right ones. Otherwise, the course would just look like an absolute disaster. I might just take some time. Yeah, you could do that. Sounds good to me. So as you can see, nothing overly difficult about them, um, but they are there, and they're definitely ready to catch a few balls anyway. That's for sure. Do, do, do. Okay, that's gonna raise that up a little bit. Start there. Just to try and make that lip a little bit bigger. Make that shot look a little bit tougher than it is. Alright, good luck, Steve. Enjoy. Yeah, we'll definitely let you know if I'm on around later. Hopefully I'll be able to join you now that it's the weekend. And where am I? Oh yeah, here. Sorry, I forgot what I was doing there for a second. Do do do. Right, perfect. So yeah, just to be a caught up there, that lip is just a little bit higher, and just makes that shot a little bit more daunting. Yes, and it is. Just open up that again. Yes, I mean, looking good in that retrospect. Green just needs a bit of work, but more messages need to go back. Yeah, that's the problem. Going over and back between the chat and the going over and back between YouTube and the images and stuff like that that I'm working on. Pain in the hole. Yeah, so that society is my one, Eric, that he's on about. So I don't know if you've played Woburn yet, but it's it's pretty much one of the tightest RCRs I've ever played. Um, Tuesday or Wednesday. Um, yeah, it's a very tight course, especially for playing tour clubs. Very easy to miss fairways, so birdies when they come along, you have to take them. See you later, Steve. I just realised I stopped talking. Away in my own world here. That's the problem sometimes when I stream. It's just I get completely distracted by what I'm doing, and then forget to actually bloody talk. So yeah, this screen is not overly complicated to get done. There's not a huge pile to it in terms of break and stuff like that. It's definitely not a black green. So what you do is just have a little bit more of a runoff here at the front, just to add to that a little bit. Some view though, isn't it? Could you imagine playing a course like this? Alps in the back, it's just, yeah, that'd be the life. Okay, so just want to add a little bit more slope there to the back left. So just use this tool here. So what this does is it basically creates a slant. So it moves that gap there on the right is the part that goes higher or lower, depending on which way you want to do it. So that should have like just a little bit of a slope down, which it does. Oh yeah, so I have like a load of different things. So I was talking about it there a few minutes ago. Basically, what it is I have like stroke savers, so they give me overall maps of the holes. Then I use Google Earth and stuff like that as well, just to get specific pinpoints. So you can see there, like those different measuring lines that are going to different spots along the fairway. So those have been taken off of the likes of Google Earth or I suppose a different software that I might use. Like Birdies 18 is usually good as well. It's an app on the phone, um, which are pretty decent for mapping out the course. So that's what I use to plot those out, and then it's just a case of using the splines then from point to point to shape it out as you need it to be. Then for greens and stuff like that as well. Again, there's an awful lot of it. Um, Not everyone like is able to provide you with the exact slopes of the course. There's a couple of apps and stuff and services out there that do them, but they're mainly for American courses. And to be honest, I think they changed their pricing recently, and it's like crazy, crazy money. So what I rely on is images, whole flyovers, everything else like that, and I just kind of pool all that information together to generate these greens. So they're as lifelike as I can make them, but sadly, not every course has all that information out there for you to take it in. Um, so slopes and all the elevation and stuff, that all comes from the likes of Google Earth and stuff like that, and 18 birdies, which actually give you feedback on different or pinpoints and different areas of the course. So, for example, it'll give me what it is up and down to this point here. So it's basically it's 15 feet up from the tee, 11 feet down from the green, and then obviously this here will be a different point again. So it just gives me all those different points, which is really handy for mapping out the holes. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so we've got one off there, perfect. Okay, excellent. Yeah, that looks good. Need to tidy up the back of that green a little bit. There we go. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, so like that's how I've pretty much done most of the courses. It's not uh, like it's as accurate as I can make it is the best way to put it. I know some people will kind of heavily, insist on using the maps of greens and stuff like that from softwares, but it's just not worth it. I mean, if I if I was getting paid money to do these courses, then yeah, not a bother. I'll pay whatever for the software. That doesn't bother me. But no, I do these for the fun of it, so I just try to stick to that to get them as good as I can. So I just need to make that a little bit more slopey. Do, 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 do. Got past there. There we go. Okay, so just gonna drop that down a little bit. So again, just that that grayed out area that isn't blue is the side that goes down and which it kind of creates a slant for you. I'm going to change that pin because I don't like that. That too. Okay, move pin. Where do I want to go? I think we'll go nice for the first one. So we'll put it at the bottom of this. Right, I'm gonna save this so far. I'm always very cautious saving it in the designer as well. Just haven't had issues before, especially when building Ballybunion. Um, it was just crashing like so many times. I was literally like making 2 edits, save, make 2 more edits and save, and that was crazy frustrating. So back, there we go. Playtest. We'll play the course, sure. We'll play the course and see how it goes. So, just in case you wonder what the gap is there out the left hand side, that's going to be the ninth fairway coming up. So this is the first hole, par 5, 546 yards, and is definitely reachable in 2. I mean, there's no reason why tour clubs, player clubs couldn't get here in 2. I'm not too sure about um, the starter clubs. I never played with them, so I don't know how far they go. But yeah, definitely no reason here why you can't get there in 2 and at least walk away with a birdie. I mean, it's very straightforward hole. The pin's about 53 feet below, so that knocks a good nearly 20 yards off this. So it then turns into 520 yard. Oh, that one's a bit right. 520 yard par 5. Like, so it's definitely one that if you walk away with worse than a birdie, I would not be happy anyway if it was me. Now again, I'm not playing this with any wind, so it's easy for me to say that. So what have we got? 234, 29 off. So I'm just gonna nearly take everything off the 2 and oh, a bit right again. Wow. Okay, I have to sort that out. Do, do, do. So this isn't this definitely isn't the finished version of the first hole. There's definitely a little bit of work still to be done, but I'm kind of happy with it for now and how it looks. That I suppose, come back to it later on when I'm polishing everything off. Really, um, so that's kind of my excuse for moving on. Ooh, eagle. Yeah, so that green soaks a bit more than that. I've taken a bit more look at it over the last, or overnight I should say, and was able to see a little bit more of a difference. So it has to come back to that. So this is the second hole. It goes back up the hill. So the first hole is there on the right hand side. Second hole comes back up the hill again. It's a par 4. I should have zoomed up there. Uphill par 4. First tee shot and second shot both uphill. That bunker there in front really shouldn't come into play unless you're playing off the slightly forward tees. It's a straightforward enough green, but it's not. That doesn't mean it's actually easy. There's that bit of a slope there in front of the pin, likely to catch a couple of balls and take them back down the green. I'm not aiming to have the greens overly fast, but you know, doesn't mean they're not going to come back at you. Okay, so what have we got? 164, 17 feet. Let's give or take 170. I'm just going to go ahead and hit this. Oh, geez, that was a straight one. And how did it go? Yeah, see, that's perfect. And what I'm kind of tempted to leave that flag there is because of that slope, that it essentially just kills the ball in flight. Yeah, actually, who was it changed that? I think it was I saw Steve had it, and I just really liked it. I kind of took away the distraction from the flag, because when I'm moving it about like this and stuff like that, I was getting, I suppose, confused sometimes about, whether that was the marker or the yardages that were to the side of it were the marker. So I just decided, the minute I saw Steve's up in the top right corner, I changed as well. And yeah, I really prefer it. No, I didn't draw. I was trying to draw that one in, but it just missed out. Not a bad shot, though. It's not going to hold on, though. Again, it looks like, I mean, you look back, oh, that's the trees. It's not the, it's not a difficult par three. It's long enough. Um, bunkers there out on the right if you hit a slow swing, or if it gets a little bit windy. Those will definitely come into play. But it's not a difficult hole. Just that green is a little bit tricky. So essentially, you need to hit the center of the green moving forward. If you catch any bit of a side slope on the bounce, you could end up off the left or off the right. That's the really only danger that's there. Again, of course, that's without wind. Close. Tap it in. So yeah, the other reason why I kind of wanted to play the first 5 holes as opposed to just the fifth hole over and over again was to get a good look here on the fourth hole, because I'm just trying to see if the trees behind it in the fifth fairway are going to, I suppose, create that kind of a bit of a blackness, because all these images I'm seeing, like, there's quite an awful lot of trees there, and they're an awful lot thicker than the ones on this theme, which is kind of annoying because I need it for the mountains. So I'm just hoping that the trees in behind on the fifth fairway actually block that out a little bit and just kind of create that bit of darkness that's starting to appear there. And if I can just get that to kind of come up this way a little bit as well, that would be just doing me an absolute solid. So again, par 4 fourth, another long hole actually. It's 505 yards. It's a downhill hole again. So this is one thing that's very, very prevalent throughout Concercier is elevation changes. Just I'm pretty sure there's not a hole goes by where there's at least some form of a change. Some of them are quite small, a lot of the par threes, but like there's a par 5 later on in the course. I think it's the 14th hole, which is 104 feet. The green is 104 feet beneath the tee box, so quite a huge drop there. That looks perfect. Yeah. So again, there's a bit of work to be done here, but this hole is it's actually nearly finished. Essentially, what needs to be done is essentially the background. Um, if you've seen the course before, there's an awful lot of cabins at the back of just across the road actually, that run kind of down along the side from the hotel and resort area. So those, well, I'm not entirely sure if they're going to actually make it into the course, and that's simply because I just don't know if I'll actually have room on the meter to do it. Looks good. Is it good? Is it good? It's good enough. We'll take that. Yeah, so like again, the paths and all that, the background area needs to be looked after. But again, I'm not too worried about that right now. That's next week's job. Turn, no, overread it. Wow, that's embarrassing. Okay, made the power back. Okay, so now time to test out the fifth hole. We obviously won't be using these tees. I actually forgot to change them. I'll worry about the tees in a different time. But yeah, here I'm just trying to get a feel for the hole. So there we have the green, perfect. Yeah, I'm liking how that looks right now. Just get those trees on the right hand side. Just fill that in way more. be laughing then. Be perfect. And maybe a little bit more on the left hand side, it looks a bit bare. So I'm going to try and just chase it forward up here. Perfect. Go on. Nice one. Okay. So as you can see, it's quite a straight. Like it's a very easy hole. It's not overly long, but I think the important thing is that you need to make sure you hit up the fairway enough, because what's going to happen is though, like I haven't fully filled in here, but you're essentially not going to be able to see the flag if you land in the ball on this line at all, and that's a promise. That's an absolute promise. Um, I've only just kind of filled in a template at the moment there and the trees just to get a good feel for it. But yeah, oh what a view. Okay, what have we got? 61 yards up 3 feet. Just knock a bit off that, just a small bit. And try and chase it in. Perfect. That'll do, because the most important thing here was definitely to not go past the flag. I don't need a downhill putt like that. Okay. Happy days. Okay, a couple of messages coming in there. So this is, I suppose I might play on here for a minute, but this is the sixth hole. It's not, hasn't even been touched yet. Just have the elevations done. So quite a bit of work needs to be done here. Very short par 4. I've obviously got no wind to deal with here, so I can pretty much just fire away. But what you'll find is, actually I'm just going to hop back in here for a second, is all the way along here, this whole area, all trees. So essentially, you don't want to miss the fairway. It might be best off in some occasions to hit a 3-wood or an iron or something out there, and just hit your shot up from there, because if it's windy, it's just going to be so hard to put the ball there. Again, a very short hole, 327 yards, or 29. Sorry, the game proved me wrong. Sit down. Okay, that counts. Oh my god, thank god the flag was there. But again, that was a flat green, so it's not overly difficult anyway.
Just thought I'd come back and do housewife duty.